Hey, J.C Agajanian here, broker associate with EXP, top grossing agent with the Whissel Realty Group, summarizing for you the mastermind that the Fast Forward Network put together for us each week. Let's get straight into
Jumping into another Monday morning recap of our Fast Forward Network Mastermind that takes place every week. And today we've got a few good questions that were covered, and I'll give you the brief rundown on our responses. So first of all, an agent wanted to know what they can do to take advantage of the listings he's got and get more business out of them. So kind of post-closing idea of marketing, what is he going to do to get more business out of this listing? Another one was an agent having issues with clients who need to sell and buy at the same time in this still difficult market for buyers. And then a third one was specifically asking about tech stacks and scaling up from roughly 15 or so deals a year and how to take advantage of tech tools to really enable him to get to the next level. So for the first one, talking about post-closing marketing efforts, getting more listings out of your listing, the conversation quickly moved to postcards, which is one of the most obvious things people do, just sold or just listed, or things that people do all the time, right? And so conversation moved in that direction, and there was kind of like a timeout, a pause. Let's make sure we understand what we're doing in the first place. Those are great things to do, but no, those are for business 6 months to a year from now. You're not likely going to go out and get a new listing from door knocking around a just sold listing. So keeping that in mind, that we are really door knocking for email addresses. We are there to list build and to drip on them in the future, so that when the time is right, we can be their choice. It's not necessary. I mean, if a listing falls in your lap from knocking on a few doors, that'd be awesome. And of course, take it and run with it. But that's not the expectation, right? That's going to be the exception, not the rule. The rule is see what you can do to just get the beginnings of a relationship going. No pressure, provide something of value. That's the way you get the email, and then you just stay in touch with them over time. So the other thing that Dan piped up and talked about was the idea of where you are sending these just sold, just listed, coming soon, pending, whatever postcards you want to send out. He said, listen, why are you going to be spending a little bit of effort in this neighborhood and then a little bit of effort in a new neighborhood with a different listing that you got? He said, you need to have a farm, and directed the conversation towards farming. And he said, regardless of where all of your listings are, you need to take those and send those just solds out directly to the same people, even if it's not in the same area, because farming is about repetition. You're trying to get people to know your face, to know your name, to know your logo, whatever it is, and to know your offers. And that has to happen over time. So pick the farm you want to work in. You got a listing across town, don't include the address. Maybe if the price is off, if where you want to work is a higher price point than this listing you just took, use percentages. Hey, we sold at 105% in only this many days instead of this price, and this is where the property is. There's no rules that say you have to disclose this type of information in the marketing piece. We don't want to be abiding by rules that don't exist. So that was a great tip on how to focus your efforts if you're going to be doing that. So playing the long game, make sure that you have the right attitude about it. Another guy, John Gluck, spoke up and talked about the typical 10 by 10 by 10, just knocking each doors around it, and then following up with a handwritten letter. How are you going to write 1,000 handwritten letters? Well, there's a company called yellowletterscomplete.com that does it, I believe, somewhat affordably. They're handwritten, they go out, and it wasn't John, it was someone else actually that said that, and he was saying that they got pretty good results. They got, I think, 2,500 went out the first time they started using it. They ended up with 20 contacts and actually had 3 listing appointments set from the Yellow Letters Complete campaign. So that was very interesting. So the other thing someone else spoke up about and said was to really, if you're really trying to focus on moving from buyer work to listing work, is to set up a challenge for yourself and just go crazy on it. She said she had, I think it was for the year that she transitioned, from buyers to sellers. She set a 100 goal of 100 listing appointments for the year. And she said that she actually ended up getting 20 listings out of it that year. And that seems kind of low, but she was calling on expires and cancels. So not only are these not Sphere or past clients or referrals, they are people that don't know her, and there's competition because other people are calling on the same people. So that the reason she was pleased with the listings that she got, but she said even more valuable, or equally valuable at least, was the repetition, the confidence, working out the kinks, mastering the key objections on price, on commission, just really just hammering those appointments over and over for that year put her in a whole different mindset and a whole different skill set from just doing it so much. So that was a really interesting piece as well. And then finally, Kyle jumped in and talked about the idea of a just sold card being too little too late. He talked about what he recommends to his agents on his team being a multi-pronged approach around a listing. And this is aside from the idea that you're farming your own area, but just on this listing itself, send out a postcard to the area, maybe a couple, 200-300 homes nearby, about either just listed or coming soon, right? Or really coming soon because you want to do it as soon as you get your listing signed. And then, like the typical, who do you know would be interested in this property? From my experience, people love the idea of being able to choose their own neighbors, maybe have a friend or a relative live nearby. Oh, by the way, any chance you're interested in selling your home, you give me a call. That kind of thing would be in the card. And then the same type of messaging would go in door knocking. And you do the same thing. Hey, who do you know that would be a good fit for this property? Just trying to put the word out so the neighbors here know about it before the rest of the public. Give them the knowledge that they're being let in on something before the rest of the world. And then go ahead and text and call as well. And then once you go pending or once you sell, do the same routine over. So it's a lot of effort around one listing. And that's the idea of really maximizing the listing, is just going all out with multiple efforts from different ways to the same people to try and take advantage of that listing. And of course, when it sells, you can say, hey, look what we did, it sold for this much over asking, or it sold this quickly, or whatever the key benefits of that listing selling were for your seller. What else? Okay, the next one, the sell by. This guy actually had access to a product called the trade-in program from HomeLight, which is the key, I think, bullet to use for this. It's a great tool, comes with a fee, but basically works kind of like a bridge loan where people are able to sell their home to HomeLight. They give them 90% of the value and then let them go ahead and shop non-contingent. They don't have to tell the seller of their next property that there's anything going on with a home for sale. And then once they get that new property, move in, get settled, we come behind them, get that property prepped for market and sell it, hopefully exceed their expectations, and not only give them the spread of the 10% that was held back the first time, but also anything additional that they got afterwards. It's a fantastic program, comes with about a 1.5% fee. And he was having a hard time understanding how to really pitch it because he was envisioning it as something negative because of the 10% and the 1.5%. So anyways, first of all, that is a great program. There's others like it, but if you don't have access to HomeLight, there's other programs that are doing this right now. And you could also do the same thing if your lender has a bridge program, bridge loan program in place, which more and more of them have come on board after seeing the success of this one. Most importantly, the idea that there seemed to be a bit of shyness or timidity about really just laying out the options. Like, listen, hey, you're probably aware, Mr. Seller, that most people are not going to accept a contingent offer in this market. Even though things have cooled a bit, it's still not going to happen because there's still more buyers than there are sellers. So these are your options. You can write a contingent offer. You can sell your home contingent on the sale of your property or of your purchase on a new one. Negotiate a bunch of rent back time. Even if you do that, you still have a limited amount of time where you can actually shop for the property. It does add a bit of stress. Or you can move out and rent for a month or two and then go on. But really, The other options are not that great when you compare them to paying a fee for the convenience that comes with the trading program. So we really discussed mostly how to present it as opposed to giving him alternative ways of doing it, because it actually programs like that are a huge benefit to the sellers and to us agents that work with them. And then finally, scaling up from roughly 15 deals or so. And he's adding an admin, but he also really wants to focus on his tech stack. As part of EXP, you have access to SkySlope, which you can actually create templates. Kyle went in and showed how that can happen. You can really do some project management type work within your transactions. So that's one thing that you can do without spending any money. You can also use a project management company or system like Asana or Monday and really just build out a workflow for each little task. And of course, all the big tasks that are going to happen in your business. The general idea being that anything that you're going to do more than once, let alone in a repeated manner, should have a template, should have a checklist, and should be duplicated and worked for each individual file therefore. So using project management tools, whether it's Asana, Monday, people use Trello that I know, or something that you already have access to, was the primary answer, I guess, to the question of how are we going to go. There's a ton of different tech that we use at our company as well, and they didn't really even go into that, because the heart of the question is how to get organized, how to put everything in a checklist or a template and remove yourself from it, and slowly but surely hand that off to other people. You can get virtual assistants for dirt cheap. And he was talking about having an in-office admin as well. Just between one or both of those things, he's going to really be able to free up a ton of his time to go focus on the higher dollar productive activities and getting face-to-face with clients. That's it. I hope you found this helpful. As always, feel free to shoot me a DM and I'd be happy to chat about any of this stuff.
Hey, thanks for checking out the video. I hope you found it valuable and that there's something in there that you can implement into your business today. If you'd like more information, I'd love to be a resource for you. I'd also love to connect you with the Mastermind directly if you'd rather see that instead of catching my recaps. And if you're interested in joining the Fast Forward Network, DM me here and I'll hook you up. Talk to you soon.